Okay, this how-to video is going to go through the impedance or the impedance analysis workflow that's available in AutoCAD PCB Designer Professional and Allegro PCB Designer now. This was waterfalled into both those levels at QIR7, which was hotfix 48 of 17.2. So what this does is actually give us some of the Sigrity technology inside of PCB Editor now. So normal kind of workflows with this, you would kind of finish a board, you would send it over to your Sigrity engineer, he would then do some analysis, impedance and coupling, that type of thing, and then he'd send you the result back and you have to make some changes to your routing, etc. We can now do this directly inside of AutoCAD PCB Designer Professional. So if we look at the Analyze menu, there's now something called Workflow Manager. This is a dockable pane, so obviously I've just got mine docked over here on the right hand side. So we've got an impedance workflow. There's a coupling workflow as well, but I'll cover in another video, but we'll do impedance workflow here. So we can either select this based on nets, so if we did a selected nets, we can just go and choose the nets that we're interested in, or we can actually do something called a directed group. So if we select a directed group, we can actually base this on a specific component. So I'm going to just hide the RLC components, and I'm looking for my FPGA, which is U2, and then it's going to show me any associated components with U2. So here's my two memory devices, so I can pick both of those and we'll create effectively a directed group, and this is effectively all of my DDR memory here. So once I have the group, I can then start the analysis. So when the analysis completes, we've then got a couple of options. We've got an impedance table and an impedance vision. So let's look at the impedance vision first. And what this does is basically set colours of the nets that I selected in the directed group based on the actual impedance on a colour scale, basically. Now, if I'm not interested in nets here, I can effectively just drag these around to find the ones that I'm really interested in. Or you can leave these as default, and you can kind of zoom in and see where potentially you might have some issues with different colours of impedance. There's also an impedance table, so let's look at the impedance table. And again, this is a dockable window, so we can look at each individual net that we're worried about, and we've got effectively a minimum value, a maximum value. Let's get the right part of the table. So we've got a minimum value, a maximum value, and a typical value for all the net. So I've got one here, effectively DDR-A12, and if we look at DDR-A12 now, I can start to see I've got a real drop, so a maximum value of 131 ohms down to a minimum value of 70 ohms. So if we kind of double click where this is on the location, it'll actually zoom and center the screen to where it is and show me the colored area of the net. So we'll just simplify the display. So let's just turn everything off and we'll look maybe at the bottom track. So you can see effectively that's a track, and if I blend the associated plane with that, you can see I've actually got a split in the plane. So yeah, it's quite a short length of track. It might not cause you any issues, but it's something that you might want to consider. Maybe just maybe adjusting the plane or splitting the plane, moving it somewhere else, so that the tracks are 100% covered. But that's for you to decide.